Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to another speed paint. Now I know I haven't done one of these in a while, but here I am, trying again. So today I'm working on Arcane print, and here are some thumbnails that, I was putting together for this idea. I had Jinx, shooting her flare gun and having the characters very monochromatic, but then I thought it was too dramatic and it took itself too seriously, and therefore I would have to paint it a little more seriously. But I wanted to have a very loose style of painting. So, I walked away for a bit and then I came back and I went for this style, a little bit more fun or loose. I wasn't sure black background or white background. I ended up choosing white background. I'm doing this print for a fan expo. I haven't done a fan expo in a few years since COVID, but this is my first year actually going back and tabling physically. Well, hopefully it's in a few months. As of now, it's January that I'm recording this. And pardon my nasally voice, I'm currently recovering from COVID. So I was drawing this while I was off from work, sick. So, I didn't have a lot of patience doing this because at some points I had a pretty bad headache and then I just had to walk away. So I think this took a little bit longer than I usually would have taken. And I cut corners a lot more. That's why, especially, like I said at the beginning, I wanted a more loose way of doing this drawing and not it to take itself too seriously and to really just have fun with it and not commit to whatever style, right? So now let me tell you a little bit about the technique I'm using. This is a beloved technique of mine that I like to use. It's, taking a layer for the sketch, painting the base colors and a layer underneath it, merging those two layers together, and then essentially working on top of one layer to draw the character. For the prop there, I didn't really use that technique. I kind of did, but some extra layers helping for lighting and stuff like that. But for this character, as you can see, I'm basically just doing it on one layer. And I think that adds a lot of freedom to, be loose and have fun with it and really embrace those black sketch lines. I feel like it makes the piece a lot more fun, and it's not and I could leave it more rough and loose, and I'm not thinking oh, this isn't meant to be like that. It looks like it's unfinished. It doesn't. I think that it looks finished, and because that's the style that I was going for. So I've been doing this style for a few years, and if you watch any of my other videos, well, actually I don't know about the videos I post on YouTube, but if you see my TikToks and stuff like that, or my Instagram videos, I always do that technique. Or if you follow me on Patreon, I always do that technique. I think it's very fun. And it's a way not to commit too hard, especially because I was kind of impatient while doing this piece. So next I'm moving on to V, and I take more time completing the sketch in a way that I really like the shapes and like where the sketch is going, because then the rest is just refining and making, rendering it cool. So I spend a lot of time making sure that I get my angles right. There's no tangents. I really like sharp shapes and exaggerated sharp shapes. So that's what I was doing here with V. So I'm just drawing right over the line layer and just embracing the black lines and having fun. But let me stop us here for a little shameless plug. I am super excited to partner up with Uptrek to host a week-long sketching retreat in beautiful Morocco next year, 2023. This retreat is perfect for all levels in art. We're going to be exploring the beautiful country, eating delicious food, sketching our hearts away. I'm super excited. And it's absolutely refundable if COVID gets in the way, so that's not a problem as well. I'll leave a link in the description with more information, and there's still spots to join if you'd like to join us. Thank you! Now back to me talking about my process. Here I'm one by one sketching and rendering out each character, which isn't a great technique. I'm doing it here because I know exactly where I want them to go and what I want them to look like, but later on when I have to draw the rest of the characters, I sketch them all out completely just to make sure I know where they're gonna go and how they're going to interact with each other and where the torso disappears, because that's something I had to really keep in mind. I can't just draw waist up and then hope that it'll be covered later, so that has to be planned here. So when I'm drawing Echo, I also knew where I wanted Echo to go, so this is my last character that I sketch and render all at the same time before I kind of think about more of the composition. And that's another, cutting corners. I just wanted to do it efficiently. I'm all about efficiency. This character was very difficult to do, Echo, the skateboard flying character. I don't know, it just wasn't it. If you're familiar with my work, you know that I prioritize drawing women. I love drawing women. I love their shapes and stuff like that. So to draw a masculine character, especially in such an intense action pose, it was just like difficult, especially because like I was sick and I didn't want to spend the time to plan it out. So I just, this one was a lot looser and rougher of a sketch, unlike V, where, you know, her lines were pretty clean going into it. So when I drew this character, it was pretty rough, and I think that the end product is also a little rougher than the rest. But, you know, I'm not mad at it. I think it fits, and it does the job that it's supposed to. I put a little bit more care into rendering the mask, because, you know, that's the main thing you're gonna look at, and if the mask looks good, then the rest doesn't really matter. So that's kind of what I went for. I hate this board that I'm doing. I try to fix it later and it still looks bad, so I just cover it up because it's really not necessary. I wanted you to see the underside, but then I also, you know, wanted to see, I don't know, it's just not it. So I kind of went back for it later and I gave up. Next I'm drawing Caitlyn, and oh, actually no wait, here you go. So I'm drawing all the characters and trying to place them differently and kind of seeing where they were, kind of moving them around, trying not to crowd one side of the drawing or have, you know, too many of the same angles going into the same area. So as you see, I put Victor, this man with the cane, up there, but then I change him later because his shape and his cane is kind of competing against Jinx, the middle character's large, like, shark gun. And the lady on the left, Mel, she's not working there. It's too simple in that area, so I ended up moving Victor to that side. And then, you know, I tried to move the girl with the gun, what's her name? Caitlyn, because her gun was competing with the key. You know, where they meet is competing to where the little girl is standing, where Powder is standing. I'm trying to use terminology so everyone understands what we're talking about here. You know, but I ended up keeping Caitlyn, this character, where she is, because once I kind of play with gradients and fade some things out, I don't think that the gun and the key and the legs would be competing that much. I think it'll be fine. So it's hard to find, it's really hard to find full body outfit images on Google. I don't know why. They're just like, when you type in the character's name in Arcane, it just doesn't, why isn't there enough images? I don't know. Someone get on that, please, because I had to like look at fan models or something to try to figure it out. You know, oh well. And okay, and then I'm working on Jace, which is this character, and he has this little blue, you know, the energy ball thing. That's a big deal in this show. And I also, at this point, I started kind of rushing. You know, when you spend a lot of time on something, you kind of want it to be over. So my strategy always is to do the characters that I'm most excited to do, the characters that have the biggest visual impact of the piece. So this one was, you know, Jinx, the main character, the large head of Silco at the top, and then the bottom pink character, V. I feel like those were the main components that I had to get right. And then everybody around that is just background. So I made sure that the first characters, when I had the most energy, you know, worked the best, and then I worked these background characters, you know, a little more lazily, but I think they still look good, you know. I'm still using that technique of sketching onto one layer. You could see my layers on the right. Also, I feel like, I don't know, it was just like I was having difficulty like putting the poses into the right area, and then I was like, I hope that the bottom of the torso fades properly and it doesn't look weird when, you know, when they're all standing on top of each other. So that was definitely a problem for a later time, which luckily I think I solved pretty well. So I really liked the way that this character turned out. I think my least favorite characters that turned out is Echo and Jace, which are the two left bottom characters. I don't know, they just didn't hit it for me. And then here I'm painting Mel, and you know, she has the least badass pose of all the characters. I was gonna have her just staring off, and then, you know, this reference image has her with champagne flute thing, and I was like, yeah, let's give her a props. And then, you know, when I was making sure all the characters work together, I definitely had to move her up in order so the champagne flute wouldn't hide behind Caitlyn's head. So I had to keep that in mind and stuff. And I also had another character, Cevica, I think her name is, and she has this whatever arm, she has like this mechanical arm, and I was gonna put her at the very top over Silco's shoulder, but it was just like not working with the rest of the image, and then I decided to drop her. I thought it'd be too crowded. You know, she wouldn't really fit. And also just less work for me, so I was like, okay, it's not a big deal. At least I have the main characters. So here I'm, you know, overlaying my initial sketch and trying to get the colors just kind of where I want it to be. The idea for this was like, you know, the lightning of that blue ball, energy ball, I don't even remember what it's called, like the crystal thing. It has this like electrifying energy, and I know it's supposed to be blue, but these colors just like were working for me. So I tried to make like this electricity off to the side, and, you know, this fog, explosion-y stuff at the bottom. I just wanted it to be very energetic and lots of fun. So I was playing around with like effects and stuff like that. I added some lighting all around them, some blue lighting and some pink lighting, excuse me, even some green lighting on top of Echo, because, you know, that's his color themed. I had perspective lines where Jinx started at one point perspective in order to get these radial lines really shooting outwards. Some effects around the blue crystal thing that Jace is holding. Overall, it's just like fun. I just wanted these bright colors, and I kept flickering between CMYK and RGB to make sure that when it prints out, it wouldn't lose the vibrancy. And so that worked out well. Adding some little bomb pieces around to really show that this is Jinx's piece. You know, she's the main, she's my favorite. So she's like the main honcho here, and everyone else is in her world, right? Flickering between black and white. I really like the black and white. I made it darker behind the gun so that you could see it better, and I added some brightness on her weapon. And that's about it. And then here's the sketch versus the final. I feel like I kept to the feeling of the sketch. And this poster is available in my shop. I'll leave the link down below in the description. And let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what other piece you'd like to see by me if there's still time to make another one before Fan Expo. See ya!